The Pfizer CEO wants you to take a biological chip that says signals when you take the medicine.
It is basically biological chip that it is in the tablet, and once you take the tablet and dissolves into your stomach, sends a signal that you took the tablet. So imagine the applications of that, compliance.
Imagine the compliance. My only question for you, Justin, is what happens if you don't take the medicine?
They will probably exclude, whittle, or try to nudge you in a way to take the medicine. The same thing with COVID, but probably just on steroids. And now, rather than have some, not that of course you or I did this, but instead of having some, easily to produce, proof of vaccination, you now have a much more embedded, much more secure, much more harder to doc, or much more harder to fake if one wanted to do that proof of vaccine status.
And who tells what medicine you are supposed to take? Is it for the elderly, for their regular pills that they're supposed to cure for their Alzheimer's or epilepsy? Like, what is it that they are forcing you or they want to track when you take? Is it Advil? Is it absolutely everything that goes in your body that they want to signal to them, telling you what you can and cannot do? And then who's going to show up your door if you don't do this? Is there going to be a mysterious black van that pulls up at midnight that happens to take you to a quote unquote camp to make sure that you are safe and effective? I don't know.
Involuntarily suppository deposit. Yeah. I actually think like the way that they would do it is I think that they would try to do it with the brass fist and the velvet glove. They'll try to nudge. They'll try to encourage.
Probably much like the Rona when they said, "Oh, by the way, you don't have to do this, but if you don't, then you'll get fired from your job." And oh wait, you don't have to do this, but you can't go to school. Or you know what? Maybe you can't go to the grocery store if you happen to not take your medicine today.
Josh, I will throw out this too. Like if you look back to like the COVID thing, I mean, and this is, a bit of tinfoil hattie, so just heads up in advance. If you ever wanted to do like a social experiment to see just how far you could push people, let's say, you're the elites and you're trying to do dastardly plans, etc., tinfoil hattie stuff right here. Well, if you had COVID coming along, that would have been an excellent thing because you would have seen just how far people were willing to bend. Because in the case of COVID, we just came out of a pandemic that had an incredibly, like a 99% plus survivability rate. And you saw the world shut down. You saw people lock themselves in the home and you saw people
But this is still happening as well. Look at China.
Oh yeah, exactly. And so here's my question. So like, if you ever wanted to get a gauge or a metric of just how far you could push people, COVID, I think, was an excellent example of how to do that. And with monkeypox right around the corner, you just kind of wonder what fresh hell the elites have, queued up for us coming down the pike. The second thing I'll say is this. Notice when Al, the CEO of Pfizer, was talking to is the World Economic Forum. And note the concept of focusing on compliance. And I think one of the key things here is that you have the way the world really works. Let's say that's right here. And then you have like the elite's perception or misperception of the way the world really works. And because the misperception doesn't align with reality, the gap in between my hands, this is like friction. This is problematic for elites because this gap rebukes the elites, and the elites hate to be rebuked. Think to Thomas Sowell calling these, the anointed intellectual intelligentsia or whatever, right? And so this is what I find particularly interesting because like if there really is a product that works, think like Tesla or whatever, right? It's not that people are saying like, oh, I want to drive a weird mobile, as Elon Musk said back in the day. It's like, no, this car, it looks good and it's fun to drive. This is a superior product than driving a gas car. I don't need to be nudged. I don't need to be encouraged. I don't need to like virtue signal or whatever, right?
If there was something that was so deadly that people wanted to be safe from, they would be hands and fists begging for a cure. But that's not what's happening. If this was so great, then why wouldn't everyone just comply? And why are they forcing complying? So
Josh, one other quick thing. And the answer can't be because they're idiots. Like if you go out and tell Josh, you will never convince anyone to do something by calling them an idiot. You're just going to get them to dig in the heels.
I might have a small simple pie of the answer for you. George Gammon did a presentation on this kind of what influenced the global elite. And there was this book, The Prince, that was by Nicholas Machiavelli. And the premise, and this book influenced many people. It was on the bedside of Hitler's bed, of Klaus Schwab. A lot of these people have accounted their thinking to this book. What is the premise of this book? Basically, this guy comes in and talks to this prince and says, here, I will give you all the knowledge that I know of all other governments. How do you maintain power once you are a prince? First off, you have to do absolutely whatever it takes to get into power. That means if you have family that are first in line, kill them. That means if you have to backpack or backstab absolutely anything, you must do that because you have to get power and accomplish your greater goals, because the ends always justify the means. No matter what the the casualties may be. If you think this is hyperbolic, read the book. I mean, this is actually what he is saying, like almost word by word. Absolutely anything you do to get into power, do it. If that is to cause a pandemic and lock everyone in their house, fine, so be it. And then whatever you do, once you get that power, you cannot lose it. Anyone that helped you get to where you are, drop them. They're no longer useful for you. And now maintain that power in absolutely any way that you possibly can, because your goals are the only thing that matter and you have to accomplish them for the greater good. This is literally what he's saying. I mean, like quite literally. And this is the book that's influencing these people. I'm sure everyone has a book or two that influenced their thinking. Mine was Atlas Shrugged. And to me, that put my subconscious thoughts into words. For them, this book put their subconscious thoughts into words. Does he see no intrusion of privacy by seeing when or someone does not take a medicine? I mean, as Justin was saying earlier, like, would you want the government to tell you who you cannot have sex with? I mean, like
Federal Sex Bureau.
yeah. The sex bureau. Or when is the government stepping and intruding into your life too far? Is it them telling you who you cannot have sex with? Is it them telling you if you can or cannot have a baby? When does the government cross the line? Because I don't know about you, but I don't want Al calling me up when I don't take my medicine.
Or worse yet, tattling to Big Daddy government on you too.